Starting off this countdown, we have the man from 2236. So apparently there are a number of time travelers on TikTok. One of them being a person that goes by the username @RealTikTokTimeTraveler. And they have to be a real time traveler because they have real in their username. Anyways, they have a number of eerie predictions. One of them being that in September of 2022, a celebrity that is dead is going to come back to life. Sort of. Apparently this celebrity faked his death, so by September it will be revealed that he is still alive. Now this got many people thinking. They think it could be anyone from Tupac to Michael Jackson, even XXXTentacion. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if this comes true. And if it is true, who do you think it is? In our 9th spot, we have the Omega variant. By now, we all want things to go back to normal, but it seems like we might never see normal again, especially since this next time traveler claims that by April 19th of this year, there will be a new strain, Strain Omega. Now, with how fast this virus is mutating, it's not hard to believe that soon another strain will rear its ugly head. But what is scary is that they said this strain will be 5 times worse than all other strains. So much for being hopeful. Time to lock myself in a room and never come out. Moving on to number 8, we have the aliens. Now, a number of time travelers claim that soon our world will be taken over by aliens. Let's take a look at TikToker Aesthetic Time Warper, for example. He has shared a number of videos saying that he is a time traveler from the year 2714. And last year he made a prediction that on September 11th of 2022, he says, and I quote, "An alien takes 4,000 skilled workers and children to the planet Proxima b as a result of another hostile species coming here." But that did not come true. Unless it did come true and we just didn't know that people went missing. Like the aliens wiped our memory of them or something, who knows. Moving on to number 7, we have the alien civilization. So the alien predictions don't stop there. A different self-proclaimed time traveler claims that by August of 2022, an alien civilization will be discovered on Earth. Apparently there is an underground alien race living on Earth, and in 4 months they are going to make themselves known to us. In fact, August 2nd is the exact date that they shared with the world. So, on August 2nd, get ready for alien life to be exposed once and for all. My only hope is that if this is real, that the aliens are chill. I mean, if they've been living underground for all this time, like, why haven't they made their presence known earlier? I'm a little scared to find out why. Coming in at number 6, we have the volcano eruption. So what I'm learning from this video is that 2022 is going to be one hell of a year, because not only are we encountering aliens, but we will be faced with a series of volcanic eruptions. Maybe the aliens are coming to our rescue. Now, good news. One of the time travelers said a volcano eruption would occur on March 15th. And that date has passed, and no volcano has erupted. Thank gosh. But they also said that one is going to occur on June 22nd. So hopefully they'll be wrong about that one as well. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the war. Another time traveler believes that in 2022 a war will break out between the US and North Korea. They said it would start on March 22nd, which thankfully it did not happen. So hopefully they were just full of crap and making all this stuff up. But I will say, this prediction conveniently released when North Korea was caught test firing a number of missiles. And then Kim Jong-un told military officials to be ready to mobilize troops. So help me, if there's a World War III, I'm done. I can't handle it. But like I said, this prediction was false as we are now in April. So hopefully it just never comes true. In our 4th spot, we have the sea levels rising. Global warming is a very serious issue. At this point, scientists have predicted that in a couple of years, major cities will be underwater. Well, a time traveler who goes by the name Edward claims that he got sent to the future. So according to Edward, he was part of a top secret experiment that took place in 2004. During the test, he was successfully transported in time. He was taken to LA 5,000 years in the future. And it's not looking too good. He said, and I quote, "I was standing on a huge wooden platform, and after I realized it was the same city, Los Angeles, but underwater." This man's claims were actually backed up with evidence, as he took a photo of LA underwater. Good thing he packed his underwater camera with him. I don't know. But the image is pretty blurry, but it appears to be an aerial view of LA underwater. At least we won't be around in 5,000 years. In our third spot today, we have more aliens. So another self-proclaimed time traveler who goes by the name Noah also had a prediction about aliens. Noah claims that he is from the year 2030 and he got sent back in time to 2018. He then decided to share what life is like in 2030. And according to him, by 2030, the government will reveal that time travel is real, and we will encounter alien beings. Honestly, all these time travelers contradict themselves, so I doubt that this is real, okay? Again, unless these aliens are friendly. Like, if they're chill, then that's cool by me. In our second spot, we have the massive sea creature. By now, you should realize just how massive and mysterious the ocean is. I mean, we've done a million videos on the ocean, but still, only 5% of the ocean has been discovered. In fact, scientists predict that there are anywhere from a few 100,000 to more than 10 million undiscovered sea creatures. But by September 17th, 2022, we could discover one of these creatures. This time traveler claims that on that date, the largest creature to date will be found in the ocean, the Cronon, which is a large sea creature in Scottish Gaelic folklore. This beast is so large that it once ate 7 whales in one go. It is over 4 times the size of a blue whale. And not only that, it can disguise itself as a smaller fish to fool fishermen. So they're like, oh yeah, look at the fish I caught, and then all of a sudden, this beast emerges and swallows the fisherman right up. So maybe everyone should avoid fishing in any large bodies of water on September 17th. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the human chimpanzee. For those of you that haven't heard, a number of scientists have been doing experiments on chimps to try and make a human-chimp hybrid, aka the humanzee. And maybe scientists have succeeded. On September 26 of 2021, a time traveler revealed that a chimp gained the power to talk as scientists successfully managed to mutate its vocal cords. The scariest part is that it said that the chimp had some mysterious things to say. But again, this time has come and gone, and I haven't heard anything about a talking chimp. So either it has happened and the government is just hiding it, or it's false news. But I will say, it won't surprise me if this prediction does come true in the future. Starting off this countdown, we have Andy and Daniel. Take a look at the people here and tell me that that is not Andy Samberg and Daniel Radcliffe. Don't see a resemblance? Well, take a look at them side by side. Bam! Someone discovered this photo. I'm assuming in like an old yearbook. I could be wrong, but then they uploaded it online. From there, thousands of people were liking and commenting on it, agreeing that they look an awful lot like those 2 actors. I mean, they're posing the exact same in everything. It's way too freaky. Like, did Harry Potter use a time turner to go back in time or what? Either that or those are the men's real fathers. I just can't stop staring at the photo, like it's too eerie. Coming in at number 9, we have Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is a well-known comedian and talk show host, and now, apparently time traveler. Take a look at this photo. The man on the left is Marxist revolutionary leader Mahir Khayyam. Mahir passed away in 1972. When was Jimmy born? September 1974. Just 2 years later. So either reincarnation is real or he's a time traveler. Maybe Jimmy felt like he needed to go back in time and try and make a difference in society. Or that's just his long-lost family member. Coming in at number 8, we have Leonardo da Vinci. Famous painter Leonardo da Vinci is also believed to be a time traveler. In fact, a lot of people have said that he was ahead of his time. Maybe, quite literally. Maybe he came from the future, you know what I'm saying? One theory is that he went back in time to steal other people's accomplishments or to help advance the world. This dude was a genius. He knew more things than anyone else did in that time period. For example, Da Vinci drew pictures of a helicopter in 1493, okay? That's hundreds of years before an actual helicopter was created. But not only that, he had the idea for an armored fighting vehicle, aka tanks. And he also invented the idea of a submarine. He talked about ships that could travel underwater, and even sketched designs of them. So Da Vinci somehow came up with all these modern day inventions and more. How? Because he's a time traveler. Boom, mic drop. In our 7th spot, we have Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin went back in time to become the 13th president of the United States, Millard Fillmore. I guess he was like, hey, if Donald Trump can do it, so can I. Let me just borrow this time machine real quick and go back in time and run for presidency. Or something like that. Like, come on, the two look so eerily similar in every photo. We need to get Ancestry DNA to do some research. Maybe they're related somewhere along the line. Or Alec Baldwin learned how to time travel. Coming in at number 6, we have Queen Latifah. Take a look at African-American novelist Zora Neale Hurston. A lot of people have noticed that she looks like Queen Latifah's twin. Seriously, the resemblance is crazy, especially since they both like wearing wide-brimmed hats. Coincidence? I think not. Hurston is said to be one of the most important black writers in all of American literature. She wrote a number of powerful pieces, including her most famous work, Their Eyes Were Watching God. A lot of people are now saying that Latifah should play Hurston in a movie about her life. I mean, it seems fitting. Or maybe Queen Latifah is a time traveler and then she would just end up playing herself in that movie, technically. It's crazy, they look so much alike. In our 5th spot today, we have Nicolas Cage. There's a man from the 19th century that looks pretty similar to this Academy Award-winning actor and America's national treasure. The photo was taken in 1870 and features a Tennessee man dressed in a snazzy outfit. The photo was found in the back of an album of death portraits. But did the man really die? Or did he just leave that time period and come back to this time period? Think about it. What's even crazier though is that this photo is currently being listed on eBay for $1 million. I don't know who would buy that, but it could be real photographic evidence that Nick Cage is a time traveler. Moving on to number 4, we have Justin Timberlake. American singer-songwriter Justin Timberlake is another celebrity believed to be a time traveler. Take a look at this photo of a man from the past. That is his doppelganger. Sadly, we don't know much about this mystery man. One post said that he was a criminal from back in the day, whereas another post said that he was a minor. I'm not sure. Maybe he was a criminal and a minor that, you know, committed crimes. Who knows? Why would Justin go back in time to be a minor or to commit crimes? Doesn't really make sense. Maybe he was just trying to bring sexy back. See what I did there? I just can't stop this feeling that he's a time traveler. It's almost like he goes around and comes around. Sorry, I'll stop with the puns, but seriously, this one is pretty freaky. Coming in at number 3, we have Jack Black. This one is honestly the funniest one on this list. You know, Jack Black is talented when he has a successful acting career currently, and also way back in the day in Italy. So this old Italian poster literally looks like it has Jack Black on the cover. Like, excuse me, they have the same facial expression and everything. Does that mean that Jack Black went back in time so he could be a famous actor in Italy, or what? Maybe this was his way to do research for one of the films he was in, you know, to like really get into character. Who knows at this point? Jack Black is a time traveler, okay? Moving on to number 2, we have Anne Hathaway. Okay, this is another really freaking trippy one. So people have pointed out that actress Anne Hathaway's husband looks a lot like William Shakespeare. Okay, I see the resemblance, they're correct, but guess what? William Shakespeare's wife's name was literally Anne Hathaway. Like, mind blow. Coincidence? I think not. Time travelers confirmed. I mean, she could have at least used a different name to make it less suspicious. Like, come on now. I'm just kidding. But either they both reincarnated and found each other again, or they're time travelers. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Donald Trump. Okay, buckle your seatbelts. I'm not even kidding when I say that Donald Trump might be a time traveler. Just wait until you see this evidence. Basically, someone discovered 2 books on the Office of Congress Library website. The books are called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey and 1900, or The Last President. Both were written in the 1890s by Ingersoll Lockwood. Now, hold on one second. What's Donald Trump's son's name? Baron Trump, okay? But that's not the only spooky coincidence. The book Baron Trump is about a young boy who finds a secret portal and time travels. At one point in the book, he is guided by a man named Don, aka Donald, aka Donald Trump. And then in the book, The Last President, it's about an unlikely presidential candidate that won the election. Sound familiar? Even freakier, the book talks about the Fifth Avenue Hotel. The address of the hotel in the book is the exact same address where Trump's tower currently stands. But wait, there's more. In this book, there's a character named Laugh Pence, who is the Secretary of Agriculture. Hello? The ex-vice president's name was Mike Pence. Come on guys, there's just too many similarities between the books and Donald Trump's life. So people believe that this book was actually written about Trump and his family, all of whom are time travelers. Starting off this countdown, we have the woman named Joan. Joan refers to a mysterious unidentified woman who claimed to be a time traveler. She came forward in the late 90s saying that she was from the future and needed help getting back home. She went on live TV but had her voice distorted and her face blurred. Joan claims that she was abandoned while on her mission. She has to keep her identity a secret, otherwise she claims she will be killed. Now, what's weird about this is that after her interview aired, her tapes were stolen from the broadcast company. Once the tapes were stolen, Joan was never heard from again. It was believed that her identity was leaked because the unedited interview revealed who she was. She may have been killed or went into hiding after this. In our 9th spot, we have the Outbreak. So this next legend is wild. Legend goes that our current outbreak situation is due to time travelers. That's right, you heard me. They believe that time travelers from the future who were immune to this disease came to our current time period and brought the deadly virus with them. Oh, told you this legend was wild. In our 8th spot, we have the Vacationers. In 1901, 2 English women took a vacation to France. They were doing typical tourist things and visited the Palace of Versailles. While there, they visited the Petit Trianon. Hopefully I said that right. Which was a little place that was gifted to Marie Antoinette as a private spot for her to hang out. So these women were having a fun day. They were exploring and embracing the French culture and also time traveling. Yeah. These women claimed that while at the spot, they time traveled. I don't think that was included in their itinerary. So while at the Petit Trianon, they claimed that they saw people wearing outdated clothing and they heard mysterious voices. Not only that, but they saw buildings and other structures that were no longer present and hadn't existed since the late 1700s. Lastly, they claimed that they saw Marie Antoinette herself drawing in her sketchbook. That's definitely one trip that they'll never forget. Moving on to number 7, we have the Chrononauts. In 2011, 2 men by the name of Andrew Basiego and William Sillings stepped forward claiming that they were former time travelers. They claimed that they worked for a project called Project Pegasus. Apparently through this program, they were picked to go to Mars and did so by teleportation. Then they also claimed that they went back in time and met Barack Obama, who was 19 at the time. Apparently Barack was also chosen to go to Mars. However, Obama has denied any of these claims, so guess he's not a time traveler. Making our way down the list at number 6, we have the Shock. So this next urban legend is meant as a warning for anyone who is interested in time travel. The legend states that time travel is deadly. It can cause memory loss, cognitive decline, and completely rearrange your genetic makeup. If you constantly jump from the past to the future to the present, then your body will start to become overwhelmed. Every time you time travel, they believe that the cells in your body are being manipulated and rearranged. As a result, you may age at an incredible rate. The legend also states that if time travel is done improperly, then it can cause you to become disfigured. You may be teleported back in time, but you might lose a limb or your body parts might get fused together. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with John Titor. This is another extremely famous urban legend. So John Titor is a supposed time traveler from the year 2036 on a military mission. He first made his appearance on the internet in the 2000s on online forums. He would post about predictions or stories from the future. The reason for him traveling back in time is so that he can get an IBM 5100, which apparently had a secret function that could translate anything to any language. He also claimed that the company was keeping it hidden for the fear of their competition finding out about it. On the forums, John also posted grainy photos of the time machine and of the military logo from the future. In 2001, TITOR disappeared from online and was never heard from again. Then in 2004, the company IBM came forward and said that TITOR was right and that their computer did have that secret function that he mentioned. So people believe that he is a real time traveler. In our fourth spot, we have the aliens. This next legend states that aliens are the key to time traveling. Back in the 1970s, a man came forward claiming that he was abducted by time-traveling aliens. These aliens took him back in time where he was able to visit dinosaurs. They also apparently took him to Mars and a few thousand years into the future. But he's not the only person to claim that aliens can time travel. Other people have come forward believing that extraterrestrials are so intelligent that they already figured out how to harness the power of time travel and use it to their advantage. Moving on to number 3, we have the chronovisor. So the chronovisor is the name of a device that can apparently record footage from back in time. The device was invented in the 1950s by a team of Italian scientists. Apparently this machine can tune into times and places in the past and then get images or videos from that time period. In fact, they have released photos of the crucifixion of Jesus, which they claim the machine took. Now it's said that the device and footage is sealed away within the vaults of the Vatican. They fear that it will fall into the wrong hands who will use it for evil. In our second spot, we have the Philadelphia experiment. This legend takes us back to the early 1940s. Apparently during this time, the government was conducting experiments on the USS Eldridge. They were attempting to make the ship invisible to the enemy radar. Witnesses claimed that they saw the ship surrounded by a greenish-blue glow before it suddenly disappeared. The ship was then seen at a shipyard in Virginia before disappearing again and then reappearing back in Philadelphia. So the ship somehow teleported. On top of that, some even say that the vessel went back 10 seconds in time. Apparently when it reappeared, the crew on board fell ill. Some even went insane, whereas others were fused with the ship's metal. And in our number 1 spot, we have the fence legend. This has to be the most popular time travel urban legend out there. So legend goes that in the midsummer of the 1950s, a 30-year-old man by the name of Rudolph Fence appeared on the streets of New York City. He was dressed in fashion from the late 19th century and seemed very disoriented. Then out of nowhere, this man was hit and killed by a New York taxi. Upon investigating, his pockets contained a copper token for beer, a bill for the care of a horse, and a letter from 1876, among other unusual items. None of the objects showed signs of aging. Turns out that this man was a person who disappeared in 1876 at the age of 29. Some believe that this legend is actually true and that Rudolph Fence was a real time traveler. Starting off this countdown, we have the Air Marshal. Back in 1935, Air Marshal Sir Victor Goddard just so happened to time travel by mistake. So legend starts with Victor flying over the decommissioned Royal Air Force Station in Scotland. He described the base as being completely abandoned, but on his return trip home, while flying over the same spot, he encountered a huge storm. When it cleared, he saw that the base was completely in use again. The once abandoned airfield was filled with planes and mechanics moving about. In fact, he claimed that some of the planes he didn't even recognize. But within seconds, the storm reappeared and he had to fight to keep control. He did manage to make it home safely, but wondered what the heck he saw. So it's believed that he got a peek into the future. In our 9th spot, we have Andrew Carlson. In 2002, Andrew Carlson, an investor, managed to turn his $800 worth of investments into $350 million, all by trading in high-risk stocks. But this seemed all too suspicious, and he was arrested for insider trading. During his interrogation, he told investigators that he was a time traveler from the year 2256. He offered to exchange information on the location of and the cure for HIV/AIDS in return for a lesser punishment, and if they allowed him to go back to his time machine. But he refused to tell them the location of this machine. Of course, without proof, investigators didn't fall for this nonsense. But what makes this case creepy is that a mystery person posted his bail, and then he left and was never seen again. In fact, records show that he never existed. So maybe he was telling the truth. Who knows? Coming in at number 8, we have the Iranian time machine. In April of 2013, an Iranian news agency posted a story claiming that a 27-year-old Iranian scientist had invented a time machine. They claimed that this machine allowed people to see into the future. Apparently, this device could fit into the size of a computer case and could predict details of the next 5 to 8 years of the life of its users. But legend goes that a couple days later, the story was removed. In its place was a story from a government official denying the existence of such device. Or so that's what they want you to think. Some believe that that was the government's attempt to cover up the existence of this device. So it could just be that the machine is really out there somewhere. But would you honestly want to know what the future holds for you? I wouldn't. Just let it be a surprise. In our 7th spot, we have Alien Barbie. There are some people out there that undergo extreme surgeries and body modifications, like Lizard Man and Leopard Man. But today, we will be talking about the human Barbie doll. Valeria Lukyanova is known for looking like a real-life Barbie. But in a 20-minute documentary on YouTube, she revealed that she's not human, and in fact, is a time-traveling alien. Yup, so legend goes that she came to Earth to save the world. What's she saving us from, you ask? Negative energy. Yep. And she has a goal to transform humans into human demigods. I mean, that's kind of cool. I want to be a demigod. But like, I don't know what to think about this one. Making our way down the list at number 6, we have Liverpool. According to this legend, over the years, Liverpool has had a lot of strange things happen on Bold Street. According to one woman, she was out shopping at a store and tried to buy a gift for her sister, but the workers refused her credit card. When she went home to complain to her mom, the mom said that that store hadn't been around for years. Later, when she returned to the same store, in its place she found a bank. But that's not all. Legend goes that a police officer was out and about when suddenly he traveled back in time to the 1960s. Suddenly he was surrounded by a bunch of stores he had never seen or heard of before, and the newspaper he found had the year 1960 printed on it. So somehow they both traveled back in time. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Donald Trump. Now, I did mention this in one of my past videos, but it deserves to be on this list. It has to be one of the creepiest time travel urban legends out there. So legend goes that Donald Trump and his son Barron Trump are both time travelers from the future. Legend goes that Trump traveled back in time to become the ruler of America. These theories arise after someone discovered 2 books on the Office of Congress Library website. The books are called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey and 1900, or The Last President. Both were written in the 1890s by Ingersoll Lockwood. The book Barron Trump is about a young boy who finds a secret portal and time travels. Both books have eerie connections to Donald Trump and his family. First off, the book is called Barron Trump, and Barron Trump is the name of Donald Trump's son. Coincidence? I think not. But it doesn't stop there. At one point in the book, he was guided by a man named Don, aka Donald as in Donald Trump. And then in the book The Last President, it's about an unlikely presidential candidate that won the election. Sound familiar? Even freakier, the book talks about the 5th Avenue Hotel. The address of the hotel in the book is the exact address where Trump's tower currently stands. It gets creepier. In the book, there is a character named Laugh Pence, who is the Secretary of Agriculture. Come on, like, hello, the Vice President is Mike Pence. There's just too many similarities between the books and Donald Trump's life. So people believe that this book was actually written about Trump and his family. It's too creepy. In our fourth spot, we have the Bermuda Triangle. So the Bermuda Triangle is kind of a giant mystery on its own. In fact, some believe that people don't necessarily go missing in the triangle, but instead are somehow transported in time. So legend goes that one day 3 ships were traveling through the Bermuda Triangle when they entered a mysterious fog. When they emerged through to the other end of the fog, there were only 2 ships. The other ship was way ahead of them. The crew aboard that ship claimed that the fog transported them back in time several years. There they saw a bunch of different boats and passengers also sailing. Then they approached the same fog and got transported back to the current day. Spooky. In our third spot, we have Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was a painter, sculptor, inventor, engineer, architect, and time traveler. So legend goes that Leonardo da Vinci is a time traveler, hence why he is often considered way ahead of his time. So legend goes that Da Vinci went back in time to steal others' accomplishments and to make a name for himself. Another version of this legend is that he went back in time to help advance the world. Like, this dude was a genius. He knew more things than anyone else did in that time period. For example, he drew pictures of a helicopter in 1493. That's around 450 years before an actual helicopter was created. But not only that, he had the idea for an armored fighting vehicle, aka tanks. And he also invented the idea of a submarine. He talked about ships that could travel underwater, and he even sketched designs of them. So how did he come up with all these modern day inventions and more? Because he's a time traveler. Coming in at number 2, we have LC. Back in 1969, a man named LC and his associate Bob, clearly these are both fake names to protect their identity, they were traveling along a highway in Abbeville, Louisiana when they approached a very old looking car driving on the road. The car was clearly an antique and was driving fairly slow. What was strange was that the car had an orange license plate with the year 1940 printed on it, which was weird because that type of car can't be driven on the road unless it's for like a parade or car show. So they changed lanes and drove beside the car, and inside they saw a woman dressed in a vintage dress with a hat and fur coat. There was also a child in the car, also dressed in clothes from the 40s. When the woman spotted their car, she started to panic and pulled off to the side of the road. The two did the same and pulled over in front of her, but when they looked back, the car was gone. So legend goes that somehow they traveled to the past, or that driver traveled to the future. And in our number 1 spot, we have the man from Torrid. Legend goes that in July of 1954, a well-dressed man arrived at the Haneda airport in Tokyo, Japan. Nothing was odd about this man until he was questioned by the customs officer. The man then claimed that he was from Torrid, and it was his 3rd time visiting Japan from his country. However, there is no country named Torrid. His documents, like his passport and IDs, were all authentic, but it said that he was from this mysterious place called Torrid. They eventually took him into custody for further interrogation, thinking that he was a criminal. He was placed in a hotel room that had only one entry and exit point. His door was monitored by 2 guards, but somehow this man mysteriously vanished. The thing was, he was put up in a room high up in the hotel with no balcony. So there's no way he could have escaped. So some people think that Torrid is a real country but in a different universe, or that it's a country in the future and he's a time traveler that mistakenly landed at the airport.